So on a Tuesday, we asked somebody who actually rules the world, or at least a politician, what they would do if they had a day off. And joining me on College Green is the Labour MP, Dr Huq. Afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay, yeah.
And what do you... Now, it's not quite what you do if you had a day off. It's if you have a night off, because in front of me, I can see a flyer. Wednesday Night Fever. Get ready for the party of the half century. Return of DJ Dr Huq.
Well, I have a PhD, unlike Dr Dre and Dr Fox.
Not Dr Dre, not a qualified GP.
I bet.
So, you're a DJ?
Well, it's something I used to do kind of turn of the century. I'm old enough to be able to say that. And I got into it by accident because I used to hang around the squat party scene a little bit in Manchester. And I remember going to a squatted sex shop. They had these sort of odd dolls and things like that in there. But these squatters had taken over and they had a big whiteboard or blackboard, and you had to write down what skills you had and what you'd like to learn. So I wrote DJing, and then they gave me a call. It was in the days of landlines on a Saturday night, and said, "You're a DJ, bring some records." And I wanted to learn DJing, and they said, "You're on." And there's all these crusties, these swampy type people, and I had to make them move their bits. And I had sort of my mother's Bengali vinyl and some woman wobbling away and some jungle tunes. So I mashed them together and then found it was really fun, because if you make people move and you make sure that, you know, there's never a moment of silence, it's consumer
just keep playing
on the dance floor. Yeah, it's good fun. So
now, because I've dabbled with this in the past as well, in a slightly similar way, sort of friends and being given an early slot in a club and that sort of thing. How technically can you beat match? Are you just putting one record on and then quickly crossfading to the next one?
Slowly, so they merge into the same thing.
Right.
So yeah, I know my way around.
So if you were playing, we wouldn't hear the joy.
I've got decks at home. Yeah, that's the idea. So if you put two things that sound similar next to each other, so 808 State Pacific and Leviticus Burial, which is a jungle tune. So if you just crossfade them into one another, people don't realise.
Well, I think we've got a selection, your choice. Let's take a listen to Dr Huq's set list.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Who's that? Is that Destiny's Child?
Aliyah.
Very good.
Kicked the bucket since then. But you can build.
And a bit of all Jeremy Corbyn to finish.
I bought it on vinyl for a significant event that's coming up. And this is the original Tainted Love.
The original Tainted Love.
By Gloria Jones.
Very good. There's something there for everyone.
Yeah. A Dr Huq night is a... Yeah.
Are you allowed to play the all Jeremy Corbyn song these days? Or have you just got to play Things Can Only Get Better?
Well, the whole point is if it's a floor filler, it works. You know what I mean?
There's no politics when it comes to DJ.
I mean, I've gone off Morrissey since he went a bit mad, but he's not danceable anyway.
No, you wouldn't put him on.
So,
in fact, when I was doing my stand-up tour, most of the venues, they say, what music do you want before you come on? I said, well, anything, as long as it's upbeat and loud. So I know just the thing. They said a Britpop, and I said, fine, that'll do, in one of these venues. And they played non-stop Radiohead.
Oh no, that's a bit gloomy, isn't it?
And the Smiths. And it was like, this is not whipping them up into the... So what's the biggest gig you've played?
Right, what have I done? I used to do... So in the Northwest, I used to do a few bits and pieces because I was a postgraduate there. Although my leaflets say I've never left Ealing. I just realised I said that on live national radio. There was a small interlude. I always had an address in Ealing. And I did some festivals and things there. I did the Contact Theatre in Lancaster. I remember I've got a poster, Dr Huq headlines Lancaster. So, yeah.
Have you done weddings?
The big one is going to be this
So are we allowed to talk about... Can anyone come to this?
It's select.
It's a select group. So this is Wednesday Night Fever. On a sort of Wednesday in June.
Yes.
You're playing. You'll show me a poster. You've been photoshopped onto sort of John Travolta in a white suit. And who else is that? So that's
Kevin Brennan, Labour MP. Jeff Smith, who, in fact, it turns out in Manchester, me and him are on the same poster of a night. None of us can remember. So if you can remember, you weren't really there. Yeah. So Jeff Smith has got DJing prowess, Alex Davies-Jones.
Yes.
And then there's other people
She sings as well, doesn't she?
She does. So she's going to do Rolling in the Deep. We've got a covers band called Primary Scream. And they're a lot of people's dads from the school fete circuit.
Wow. This sounds like quite the night.
I knocked on a door the other day.
We got Alex Davies-Jones to sing All I Want for Christmas at Christmas.
Got a decent set of lungs. Yeah. So it's the night of the year.
I could.
The
Yes.
year is 1989, maybe.
Very good, very good. Just in terms of the day job, what have you made of the Queen's speech?
Very
Did you
thin,
go in for it
wasn't
all? Did you do all the walking up and down?
I'm going to go properly for the speech
actual
bit, because
debate.
this is just the sort of headlines, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need to find out the meat behind it. But, the cupboard is bare. I really thought, no wonder Her Madge had a morning off for that, really? I mean, but no answers to any of the cost of living crisis that all our constituents are suffering from.
And just finally, who are you going to be supporting in the Labour leadership contest, which seems to be coming down the tracks?
There is no Labour leadership contest. What are you
There
talking
might be,
about?
though.
There won't be.
You don't think he's going to be fined?
Come on, he's DPP. He wouldn't say that if he knew. He's completely squeaky clean.
Oh, so it's not a gamble at all. He knows.
I don't think so. I mean, I've done interviews on this before. No comparability with the 16 different events at Downing Street. And also, this was 2021. This is a totally different time and place.
Well, we'll see. Well, we'll get you back on.
Yeah.
When you're DJing it. At
Bring
Lisa
some
Nandy's
Dex
leadership
next
launch.
time. You cheeky monkey. Never.
Dr Huq, Labour MP, thank you for coming down and telling us all about your DJing prowess.